Patriot fans, remember when we passed up the Commanders report and subscribers? Well, now they've passed us up. Can't let that happen. We are in a battle to see who can get to 6,000 subs first. They got a slight edge. We're just over 70 away from that milestone. Let's get there first. For daily Patriots coverage, subscribe right now to Patriots Today. Welcome in. Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. Bill Simmons, the host of the infamous Bill Simmons Podcast, is suggesting that after yesterday's brutal loss that the Patriots suffered, that Bill Belichick might not just be fired, but could very well be the first coach in the entire National Football League this cycle to get the axe and ultimately get canned. So that leaves us wondering who could be the next Patriots head coach if they do ultimately move on from Belichick. We'll examine that in a moment. Let's set the scene for you first. Here's more from Simmons. If you're going to fire the coach first, is Belichick one of those three guys now? I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel like I'm going to get struck by lightning. But there you have it from Simmons there, pointing to that he thinks that there's a good chance it happens here. Now, look, personally, in my humble opinion, I don't think Bill is getting fired right now. But the objective is clearly being missed of what Belichick needs to do to keep his job. We told you entering 2023 that the goal was very clear for Belichick and this coaching staff, that if Belichick wanted to be back for next year and beyond, for a chance to break Don Shula's win record, that they would need to make the postseason this year. If he made the postseason, he was coming back. If he missed it, then that was going to be it. And right now, where the Patriots are at, it looks like that postseason is long gone, that there's minimal to no chances of that happening right now. They're 1-4, and they've had back-to-back 30-point loss games. Before all of this, Belichick had never lost a game by 30 points or more. Now he's lost 2 straight. His record since Tom Brady left town, including the playoffs, is 26-30, a less than 500 record now. And the last playoff win was all the way back in 2019. Belichick, we love you. We respect you. He's the greatest of all time. Nobody is denying that. But the game is passing Belichick by. And when you look at the way this roster shapes up, with him being the general manager, the head coach, no one is more to blame for the team struggles right now than Bill Belichick. So let's ask you, should the Patriots fire Bill Belichick? Why for yes and for no? Our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. So if they do move on from Belichick, who are the 5 names that would be most likely to take the job? First and foremost, you got to start internally with Gerard Mayo, the Patriots inside linebackers coach. Mayo joined the Patriots coaching staff back in 2019, won a Super Bowl with New England as a player, and has been viewed by many as the head coach in waiting within this organization. You may recall that Jerrod Mayo turned down several opportunities to interview for head coaching jobs, that he remained loyal to this Patriots organization. And well, that's great. You know, a Patriot guy that knows the Patriot way, that seems to be a young, promising assistant coach. The truth of the matter is that Jerrod Mayo is a part of what is going down in New England right now, of these issues and these concerns. Look, the defense has been a hell of a lot better than the offense has, sure, but no one is left blameless here. And for me, what I would look at with Jerrod Mayo, what would hold me back if I'm Robert Kraft from giving him this job, is the fact that it's guilt by association, right? Aren't you tempted by the way things are going just to start off with a clean slate and say, you know what, we had issues all across the board here. We need to start over, and we need to go a different direction than Belichick-era football. Jerrod Mayo brings basically Belichick-era football with a younger face. And if you're the New England Patriots, do you want to go that route, or do you want to completely start over? That's a question they'd have to ask themselves. More names to get to in just a moment, but first, let's tell you about one of our newest partners here at Chat Sports, and that is Prize Picks. Now, Prize Picks does an incredible job of getting you these daily fantasy games to wager on and find the right picks that you should be making. Because here's the thing, folks. When you use Prize Picks, this is a chance to earn some money and do so legally, right? It's easy. It's exciting. Prize Picks is incredible, folks. And here's how it works. It's real simple. Just choose some players and some different options that stand out to you, and you make it real simple. More or less of the statistic that they're given of, let's just say, for example, here's a few of them I like. Hunter Renfrow on Monday Night Football. I like him for less than 9.5 receiving yards in the first half, so I click less. Josh Jacobs for over 22-plus receiving yards. I hit the more on that one, and so on. And basically, you take these picks, you combine them, and you can turn $10 into hundreds of dollars, depending on how many picks you want to make. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, and they will give you a $100 deposit match. So go ahead and check it out now. Get that deposit match. prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS for exciting daily fantasy sports. It's the place to be. Check it out today. Tell them the Patriots Today sent you. You'll be glad you did. Number 2 on our Belichick replacements is maybe the hottest name of any coordinator in the National Football League. That would be Dan Quinn of the Dallas Cowboys, their current defensive coordinator, who's been a head coach before. You may recall he spent 6 seasons in Atlanta with the Falcons, helped lead them to a Super Bowl back in 2016, and has done just an outstanding job as the DC for the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys have had one of the better defenses in the NFL the last few years, and he's been loyal to the Dallas Cowboys. He had opportunities to take other jobs, but decided to stay with Mike McCarthy on that staff. And if something happens to McCarthy, if they decide to move on, have to think Quinn is going to be a candidate for that Cowboys job too. My concern about Dan Quinn, though, has nothing to do with how things are going in Dallas. He's done a really good job. But I go back to when he was the head coach with the Atlanta Falcons after they went to the Super Bowl and pulled that 28-3 lead. You may recall what happened after that. Kyle Shanahan ended up going to the San Francisco 49ers. Quinn ends up hiring a guy by the name of Steve Sarkisian, who college football fans, of course, are familiar with, head coach now at Texas. Sark ultimately got fired. The offense that he tried running at Alabama did not translate to the NFL. Matt Ryan fell off a cliff, wasn't the MVP quarterback anymore, and everything just went downhill for that Atlanta Falcons team. So I wonder, if you hire Dan Quinn, can you trust him to make the right hirings on his own end to have somebody take care of the offense and do all that and not make the dumb decisions that he made at the end of his tenure in Atlanta? If you can trust him and help him find the right offense, then it could make sense. But you could find yourself in a situation similar to what you had at the end of his tenure in Atlanta where it did not go well. A few more names to get to in a moment. First, who should the Patriots' next head coach be after Belichick? Whether it's at the end of this year or if it's years from now, who should be the Patriots' next head coach? Give me a name in the comments section who you believe that should be. Number 3 on our list of Belichick replacements, we turn our attention to the offensive side now. Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. EB joined the Commanders coaching staff in 2023 with really one clear objective. He wanted his chance to be a full-time offensive play caller, something that he was not getting the opportunity to do in Kansas City, where he shared play calling duties alongside Andy Reid and wasn't given credit for the job that he did on that Chiefs coaching staff. Everybody pointed to the success of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid leading that offense and didn't really factor in Eric Bieniemy into the equation. He ended up getting 2 Super Bowls with the Kansas City Chiefs, and now here we are, his first year in Washington. Sure, they might have just 2 wins in the season, but the offense has dramatically improved. And we've seen Sam Howell take some great steps in the right direction with Eric Bieniemy calling the shots. Now, there have been some character concerns. He and Patrick Mahomes weren't always necessarily on the same page there in Kansas City. He's been arrested and had a lot of disputes with law enforcement over the years, but it's been a long time. I'm not worried about Bieniemy when it comes to his coaching abilities, but I am worried about how he can relate and deal with players on his own team, because it's not just what happened in Kansas City. We heard about the rumblings in training camp and all that, about him not getting along with his players. And I'm not asking for my head coach to be best friends with my quarterback here, but they have to have a working relationship here, and that would be the concern with me when it comes to Eric Bieniemy there. Another name to watch for is Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. Brian Johnson has done an incredible job with Philadelphia. This is his first year as the full-time play caller and the OC there with that Eagles organization. And he's credited with the development of Jalen Hurts, a big part of what he was able to do as the quarterback's coach previously, and really getting Jalen to take that next step in the right direction. Joined the Eagles coaching staff in 2021, and this is a name to watch for, somebody that is on the rise when it comes to some of these coaches and taking that next step. He is going to have his name and his phone number called for an opportunity somewhere soon. Now, if you want a fresh start in something opposite of Belichick, okay, a young coordinator who is offensive-minded, that's completely different than what you've seen from Bill Belichick. But what you would see with Johnson, some of the question marks would be, hey, is he ready for this next step? Is he too young necessarily for that moment of sorts? That's a realistic question you'd have to ask of Brian Johnson, and not necessarily in the Patriot family, right? Which leads us to our next question. Should the next Patriots head coach be within the Patriots family, if you want to call it that? Do you want an internal guy or do you want an external guy? Type I for internal, type E for external. Let us know what you think. Finally, on the replacement list for the Patriots, we'll go to the college ranks. I had to throw a college coach in there. I can't imagine this organization ever being acceptable with Jim Harbaugh. So we turn to the other name that's talked about when it comes to NFL opportunities, Lincoln Riley, the current head coach at USC. And he has done an incredible job when it comes to quarterbacks. Caleb Williams, his most recent, who's expected to be the number one pick coming this April, was the Heisman Trophy winner this past year. Who knows? Maybe the Patriots could be picking Caleb Williams when it's all said and done. Also worked with Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma, Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. Those two ended up winning Heisman trophies, were number one overall picks. Jalen Hurts, of course, just played in the Super Bowl. Was with the Sooners, now at USC, the second school that he's had success with there. And with what he's done in the transfer portal, maybe that's something that could translate when you talk about bringing in free agents as far as that goes, how he's handled things there. Lincoln Riley's a phenomenal offensive coach, but he's got a poor record when it comes to big games. His entire tenure at Oklahoma, they made the playoffs time and time again, but he could not win playoff games. And then the other factor that has continued on from Oklahoma now to USC is his defenses have just been terrible. And sure, he doesn't necessarily call the shots in the defense. He has Alex Grinch, his defensive coordinator, doing that. But Alex Grinch has done a terrible job at both Oklahoma and USC, and he kept him on at USC. And before that, you had Mike Stoops at Oklahoma, who also did a terrible job. So is Lincoln Riley just an offensive coordinator at this point, or can he actually find a competent defense to run the National Football League? That will be the big question marks about him if he were to take an NFL job. So there you have it, your top 5 potential replacements for Bill Belichick if they go to another direction. Jerrod Mayo, Dan Quinn, Eric Bieniemy, Brian Johnson, and Lincoln Riley. Subscribe now for more Patriots coverage. Let's get to 6,000 subs. I believe you guys could make it happen. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned each and every day to Patriots Today by Chat Sports for more Patriots coverage. Thanks for joining us.